Hi. Hope y'all are good. I'm sleepy. I'm not gonna include this. I don't know, unless I do. Who knows? Anyways, today we're gonna be finally talking about this book that I said I was gonna talk about like a really long time ago. I finally even ready to talk about the book. I got my notes. I know what I'm gonna talk about. I had to like put it in order because if not, like I might just ramble. But we are finally talking about Meet Your Strawman. Okay? Great. Okay. So Meet Your Strawman. I don't know if any of y'all have heard about it. They've been talking about it on TikTok a little bit and Instagram, and I just been down this conspiracy theory rabbit hole completely, and all of them are connected, so I think that means that obviously all of them are true. Obviously. But we're gonna talk about Meet Your Strawman. Okay? So the cover says, Meet your strawman in whatever you want to know. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. Proverbs 3:13. Then we got a picture of 7 of the founding fathers: John Hancock, Patrick Henry, Samuel Adams, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and James Madison, all up here. You talk about all of them. I'm gonna include a picture of it just, so y'all can see it. It says, we the people, and then we have a quote here at the bottom. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Okay, and then the back has like a little quiz on it. Okay, so the questions say, who meets there? There's a picture of the White House. I think this is the White House. This is not the White House. This is the Capitol. I'm just kidding. This is the Capitol building, which is different from the White House. Like, what is that? I guess like it's the one where the Congress meet. Whatever place that is, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Who meets there? Congress meets there. What do they do there? Nothing. Do they help you in any way? No. When was slavery abolished? It was not. Was slavery legal? Yes, it was. Completely legal. Completely legal. Okay, so I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I really enjoyed this book a lot. Not for the reasons I thought I was gonna enjoy it, but I really enjoyed it a lot. And not for the reason that the title is about. Like, I didn't enjoy it for that part, but I enjoyed it for a different part. So let's define what a strawman is. So it says we got it on page 4. Let's see what it says, and I'm gonna define in the author's words. Who wrote this? Okay, anyways, so a strawman is a fictitious legal entity created with the hope that as the child grows up, he will be fooled into believing that he is actually the strawman, which he most definitely is not, and pay all sorts of imaginary costs and liabilities which get attached to the strawman by con artists. How is it created? This part was like really interesting. So he talks about birth certificates. How is your strawman created? It's created when your parents have you, they go to the hospital, push you out, and then, the doctor says, here you go, register your baby with the state. And they fill it out, happily give you a first, middle, last name, put their names on it, and then they sell you to the government. They sell you to the government. They sign away their rights to you as any kind of property, which you shouldn't be considered as, but you are now property of the government. He explains in the book that your birth certificate is a contract. It's an illegal contract because your parents don't know that they're entering into a contract when they register you with the state, but that's exactly what it is. I don't know if y'all have looked at y'all's birth certificate or if y'all saw when everybody was like, oh, your birth certificate is printed by the Federal Reserve, which is supposedly a bank. So why is the bank printing birth certificates? That makes no sense. What are banks known to print? Certificate of deposits, bonds, banknotes. And that's exactly what your birth certificate says that it is. I'm gonna go get mine and I'm gonna show it to y'all, but I don't know where it's at. I got a picture on my phone. I got a screenshot of my phone and I'm gonna screenshot where it say banknote, or I'm gonna take a picture. Like, this is my birth certificate. I'm not gonna show y'all my birth certificate. People still be stealing identities and stuff. But anyways, if you go look at your birth certificate, it's gonna say on there U.S. Bank or U.S. Federal Reserve. It has some kind of banknote on it. I don't remember what it says specifically, but I did check because I have a picture of my brothers and I was like, it do say that on there. So yes, that's how your strawman is created. When your parents register you with the state, they officially and illegally waive their rights to you as parents or owners, which is weird, right? Another thing that's actually just like that he talks about in the book is car registrations, and it makes complete sense because why else can CPS come and take your kids when they want to? Because you gave them, you said, hey, I got a child to the government that you can keep track of now, and that's why they can do it. Like, it really is that simple. And the same with like when they come in, when people repossess your car, like when the government says when you get arrested, my bad, when you get pulled over and they say, oh, your tax expired, this car is not up to state regulations, I can't impound it. That's because you register your car with the state. You say, hey state, I got a car, here you go. Now you know I got a car, and now you know, now you're gonna put these restrictions on me that I have to follow to keep my car, even though it's my car that I paid for with my money, because you think that you have to have it registered to drive it around on the streets. Do you know how many people driving around with expired tags and stuff? Expired tags, fake licenses, paper licenses. Like, they give you a paper driver's license. Not driver's license. I give you a paper driver's license. First of all, they do when you go and get a new one. But they also give you a paper license plate too. Anybody can print that. But we believe that we gotta go and we gotta, you know, follow these rules and regulations. Now, mind you, that is the point of being a part of society. Like, I completely get that. That is completely the point of being a part of a society. That you decide to collectively be governed by these rules and stuff, and, you know, collectively do stuff. But it's so many rules as a society that we don't even like function in with the regard for anybody else's life, care, well-being, feelings, any of that. So I'm gonna move on though. Anyways, so he talks about that. He talks about it's really good. Y'all should read it. How he talked about the illegal practices banks do when they lend money to people, because banks do not lend money. They don't have money to lend. They don't have their own reserve of money to be lending and giving to other people. But they teach us in school that that's what they do, that they use our money that we put in a bank as collateral to give to other people. But that doesn't make sense. Even if you sit here and think about that, like, I know in the book, like, I don't think that people like think about what they say, like think about the actual like order in which that they say these words and how it changes the actual overall meaning of the message, right? So if banks do not have their own sums of money, like a bank is just a building with vaults in it, but everything is electronic now. We're not gonna get into that part yet, right? A bank is just a building with vaults in it, supposedly for me to go and put my money in, and it's supposed to be safe. Safe against what? It's not safe against inflation, because if you put your money in a bank and any kind of just regular basic savings account, you're gonna be losing money because the value of money is literally dropping. We're gonna get into that in a minute. They don't have money. They waiting on us to give them their money, and then people will, and then And then people will come to these same banks that don't have no money until we give it to them and ask to borrow money. And the bank will be like, yeah, I'll let you borrow some money for this much interest back over this many years. I will definitely let you borrow some money. That's no problem, you know? Because each and every time they're going to make the money back tenfold. Because as he points out in the book, they never had any money to give out in the first place. And if you take any kind of business, law class, anything, you know, to enter into a contract with somebody, both parties have to be offering up considerable. Both parties got to still we both got to be offering something. Either you offer me a service and I'm offering you money for that service, or we both offering each other a service in exchange. Like, we both are putting up something into consideration for this contract. And if you're going to a bank and asking for money, they don't have anything to put in consideration because they don't have any money, because it's your money, it's my money, it's their money, right? So right there, it's illegal. It's illegal. And he explains how you literally can get out of paying it back. Like, say you went and got a mortgage and now they're trying to foreclose on the mortgage because you're not paying it. This is not like, he explains how you can get out of it because you can ask for certain things from the bank. First, you have to ask for the original contract, the original invoice, right? So with banking, and if you take any accounting classes, you know what a T account looks like. Everybody heard of a balance sheet, right? If I get some money, right, eventually I'm gonna spend that same money. If I'm saying that I got some money, then I have to have gotten a debit or a credit from somewhere for me to be able to debit or credit that again, right? Like, if I ain't got no money, I can't spend no money. It's that simple. If you don't have no money, you can't spend no money. T-chart. No money over here, money I got to spend, how I spent the money. If it ain't nothing over here, it ain't nothing over here, right? It's not balanced. It's not gonna make sense, right? But once I get credited, once somebody gives me $250,000, now I have $250,000 to debit, to spend, to give away, because it was credited to me. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure I'm using like the wrong term, so I might cut this part out until I get clarifications. Because I took all these classes, but sometimes the terms are backwards. Like, the way we think we use the terms is not the way we actually need to be using it. Right, but for the bank to give me money, they have to have money to give. Point blank period, they don't have nothing to give. That makes the contract illegal. You're not offering anything. You're not offering any consideration. You're not putting anything up. You're never at a loss for this contract at any point in time, because I'm now bound to give it back to you. But you also never lost anything. I'm bound to give it back to you tenfold, and you never gave me anything to begin with. But he explains it really nicely in the book about how mortgages work. So read that part. I've also been seeing a lot on social media about like people learning how to use the tax codes and how your bills are not actually bills, they are actually already paid, like, and you don't have to pay them. And then if it's written a certain way on the bill, then you actually don't even owe no money. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, like I went and I checked this one time, but I can't remember where I got this from. I don't remember if it was a video because it's not in this book. But it was like, if you look at your bill and it's written as a positive number, then you don't owe them anything, right? Because it's already paid, right? So if I owe you something, then it will be a negative number because I owe that to you. Like, my account is now in the negative because you've offered this monetary amount of services or whatever to me, and now I owe you that money back. And I went and checked like a bill or two, and sure enough, they was positive numbers. And then I saw this video. I think we'll do a video. We're just gonna go through all my conspiracy theory videos that I got saved on Instagram, because I got a lot and we're gonna talk about them. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I got a video. That's what I was gonna say. And he's like, if you just write this on the bill and send it back, or I have a couple videos. One is just like, your bills are supposed to be looked at as a check. A check is going to have a positive number on the back, and he said you're supposed to sign it and send it back. Like, yep. If you write the certain, like these 2 tax codes on the bills, then and send it back to them, then they won't say nothing else to you. Like, they'll just take it, and they won't inquire anymore for more payment or anything like that. Super crazy. I feel like I'm off topic now. I mean, I'm not off topic because, like I said, like all these conspiracy theories are connected. Let me get back to the book. Let me get back to the book because I don't want to explain too much of the book. I want y'all to go read it. But also I want y'all to get like the gist of why the book has some really good information. Like, he talks about how any like summons or like charge or anything like with police, you don't have to give police any information. Like, if they pull you over and they ain't got no reason to like arrest you, even if they do have a reason to arrest you, he talks about how if you do not if you don't act combative, if you don't argue with them, even if you have done nothing wrong, like when they take it to court, the judge is going to look for whoever acted dishonorably first and foremost. So it don't even matter if you did anything. If there was any act of dishonor, then you gonna be it done. That's it. You out of there. But first of all, you don't have to give them no information. You don't have to let them search your car. Like, you do not. Once again, the society is the decision to collectively be restricted by a set of rules. If I decide I don't want to be restricted by these set of rules, I don't have to give you none of the information that you're asking for, right? And not disrespectfully, like respectfully, like the law does not require that I give you my name. The law does not require that I let you inside my house. The law does not require that I let you inside my car, that I get out the car to talk to you. Like, it don't require that. And he talks about how the language legalese is just spell work. Not just like, he don't say that, but that go back to what I was saying, that stuff is spells, and I've been seeing so much stuff about that. Anyways. How they use legalese to like just really confuse people, like, because it's a whole different language basically. Even though it looks like English, it looks like a whole bunch of long English words that go 20 times around the point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the language, right? It's to get you to be distracted and overwhelmed and agree, submit. That's the whole point of the language. And you should never, when you're talking to an officer or when you're in any kind of legal situation with somebody like that, tell them that you understand them. Because they ask you, do you understand? And you say yes, that means you just gave them permission to have authority over you in that situation. Do you? We said, I think you stand under me if you don't understand me. He said it, okay? And he meant it, okay? He meant it. Okay. The part of the book that really gets me, like, I was like, what? I was like, what? And I was like smiling. I was like, oh my gosh, like literally talking to myself out loud when I was reading this book, because I took a law class my senior year, one of my last classes I had to take, and I took a law class, and we learned a lot about like just how, you know, most countries, not most countries, but like countries' laws are either based off of common law or civil law, I think. Right? So I took that class, right? We learned about common law. We debated about a lot about, you know, different ways to approach situations. Like, are you pragmatic? Are you realistic? Are you, what's the one that started with a D? I don't remember the different ones. I just remember pragmatic, honestly. I had, like, the other one is like literally on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it is. But anyways, like the different way that you like what? The different ways that you approach like situations. Are you thinking about like, do the means justify the ends? Do the means not justify the ends? Are we gonna do what's best for everybody? Like, what is that one called? I know what that one is called. Like, the least amount of harm to the least amount of people. That one. I just can't think of what these actual words are. Like, I promise y'all, like for a long time. I forgot the word trade-offs, and I would think about the word trade-offs all the time, like, but I could not think of the word trade-offs. Like, anyways, so we're learning about all that, right? And it just got me thinking about, because we're learning about treaties, we're learning about how countries interact and decide to be cool with each other, right? And I'm thinking about, like, I got this secret plan, y'all. Like, this is a top secret plan. I'm gonna talk about this plan at a super secret later date. I got a super secret plan. Once you know about the plan, know about the plan. But if you don't know about the plan, ask me about the plan, okay? Because I got a plan related to what we're talking about, but that's not the point. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Got me thinking about currency, right? Because I was also in another class at the time, and they were teaching us about the fiat system. Now I remember that clear as day. The fiat system, look it up. That is the money system that the U.S. is on, and coincidentally, the rest of the world is on, because the rest of the world's money is tied to the U.S.'s money, and that's the whole point. That's what it got me thinking about. That's what the law class got me thinking about. And in this book, he gives me the explanation of exactly how they did it, how they got the U.S. currency to be the currency for the whole world, how they literally took over the whole world. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I'm like, man, like, that is so genius. Like, it is genius. You gotta give them the applause, because the way that they did it is amazing. Like, people depend so much on the dollar. The dollar literally makes the world go round. But if you look up the fiat system, it literally means that the dollar's not backed by anything. The dollar only has the value that we think that the dollar has. I'm gonna let that sink in for y'all. Like, the dollar has no physical backing. If you take this dollar somewhere and say, I want to exchange this dollar for gold, they're gonna look at you like you crazy. I want to exchange this dollar for silver. They're gonna be like, right? But we are set up to believe that we can do that with the money, because there used to be the I don't know what it was called, but when stuff was actually backed by gold. And he talks about that in the book. He goes through each and every war that we learned about in American history. In those K through 12 plus years, if you get post-secondary education, every war that we learn about, and just takes the details that they literally teach us about. Like, this is what, like, just is really blowing my mind. Because, like, if you like history, I like history, right? Because they say history repeats itself, because it does. And history tells you a lot about what's going on right now. Like, yeah, that happened a long time ago, but how much of what happened a long time ago is still affecting everything that we're doing right now? Most of it. People learn it every day, how this and that is deeply rooted in racism. Surprise. Like, what? So, he has a quote in here, page 39. It says, all recessions and wars are started by the people who gain from them financially. Right? So then it goes down the whole timeline that I was like, how did they do this? It goes down the whole timeline. American Revolution. What did they teach us in school that the American Revolution is about? No taxation without representation. That's literally, we all was dressing up, acting like little pilgrims, learning about the Boston Tea Party and stuff like that, thinking that this was because they was taxing tea. It wasn't about them because they was taxing tea. It was because of the Currency Act that whoever was king at the time was, because I don't know who it was. Whoever was king at the time signed the Currency Act, which means that Then like that's when currency was actually like heavy as coins, textile, gold, silver, you know, so like you can't, you know, I'm not gonna carry that across the ocean. Like what I look like I'm not gonna carry that across the ocean, right? So they have banknotes, dollar bills. They have banknotes worth whatever they had sitting in the thing. I think they're probably like closer to like a check. Like you probably like write the amount you need to use it for and then give it out. But that's not the point. They have banknotes, and the Currency Act that was signed in place means that they have to pay an additional tax on their money to use their money, right? They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, right? So they had a revolution. Who's like, hey man, we're not doing that. We are America. We are America up in this bitch. We're not even like what they gonna do for us from over there, you know? Blah 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 blah. American Revolution. Blah 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 blah. America wins. We free and this and that. Patriotism. But right, they were just trying to get out from under the private bank that the England was using. Right? They just was trying to get up under that. Cause like you making too much money off of me. Like why I gotta pay you additional tax to use my money? That makes no sense. It still make no sense. Anyways. Right, so they think they won. But this dude named Amschel Rothschild, right? He's like, hey y'all, good job. Y'all did it. But y'all need money. I got money. Let me set y'all up a bank. Let me set y'all up a bank. Another what? Private owned bank. And that becomes the first US bank. The first bank of the United States, my bad. First bank of the United States. So did they win the war? No, they didn't win the war. What's the next war? War of 1812, right? The charter, and they teach us about how these charters for the first Bank of the U.S. and second Bank of the U.S. they teach us about the charters and how they didn't want to renew them and this is that. Like I remember them teaching this stuff, right? We're 1812. First Bank of the U.S. charter needs to be renewed. Anyways, Congress refused to renew the first bank, the first U.S. bank, the first Bank of the United States charter. So Rothschild is like, hey man, amen, amen. Recolonize them. I'm not gonna say that. Recolonize those people over there. Anyways, and that's what the War of 1812 is about, because they refused to renew the first Bank of the United States charter. So Rothschild was like, hey, recolonize them. Force them so far into debt that they have no choice but to come asking me for money. Right? So it looks like we won. It looks like, hey, America, we 2 for 2. 2 for 2. And we beating them up. Like, we are untouchable. We don't need them, right? But we're super in debt. And we do need money. So Rothschild is once again setting up the second bank of the U.S. with a new charter. Right? Then we learned about Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson. He tried to introduce a new currency, and he ended the second charter of the U.S. Bank, right? I don't know if y'all know, but he has 2 failed assassin attempts because the guns was not working because technology, I guess, you know, darn technology. He was the only U.S. president to pay off all debt for the U.S. because he introduced a new currency that was actually made by the government. I'm assuming it was probably actually backed by something at this time. So he was like, all right, we owe you some money. Here you go, blah, 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 right? But Jackson didn't stay long, right? Now we got the Civil War coming up, right? And we think the Civil War is between the North, South, got the Union, got the Confederacy, duking it out for slaves, man. Give me my slaves, man. I want my slaves, man. And, you know, that's what it seems like it's about. But that's not, I mean, that is what some of it was about. It was about slavery. But it was also instigated and, what's another word? Okay, instigated. I can't think of another word. By the British, because they was helping the Confederacy. They was backing them financially. Because how you just gonna split the whole bottom of a country in half? Like, we have it all decided to collectively have our money ran through the top part of it, where they got, the Federal Reserve, where they making our money in, and we just gonna duck off and have our own money. We're gonna get some private bank money, man. Like, where else are they gonna get the money to fund the whole war? Wars are expensive. And what did I just say? Recessions and wars are started by the people who gain from them financially. So, like, Lincoln was like, hey, we don't need no private banks. Here goes some greenbacks. We're gonna use this for money. Greenbacks, I know y'all remember learning about greenbacks. We're gonna use this for money. Y'all know Lincoln died. He got killed at the theater while he was watching a play at the theater. He got killed. Why? Because he wasn't trying to take no private bank money. And they said, hey, this man gotta go. Shortly after that, where did the greenbacks go? They disappeared. Civil War ended, right? Slaves is free. Everybody back together. But y'all are now super in debt. We finna kill you and we finna be rich again. And that's what happened. Boom. So then we got World War One, right? And World War One started because the Archduke Ferdinand had got assassinated when he was like, I don't remember where he's from. But anyways, the war started between Austria-Hungary and Serbia. But I don't know if y'all remember or not. But the Treaty of Versailles, 1919, the one that ended that war, the First World War, pins all of the war reparations, majority of the war reparations on Germany. Germany didn't even have nothing to do with the start of the war. But they was behind, Austria, and they was like, hey, we declaring war on you, we declaring war on you, and you, and you. And they was like, chill out. I don't even really know, like, if Germany even, like, got their hands dirty in that war. So I'm gonna mind my business. But the war reparations was put on Germany. Plunged Germany into hella debt. And at the time, they were, their economy was doing pretty good. And it was threatening the British pound, which was what the world's currency was based on at the time. So, conspiracy theory plot? I think yes. Right, so we got that. Then after that, Germany pays everybody back. They rebuild. This is when Hitler start coming into the picture, because he performs a coup that is funded by the United States, BT Cups, and takes over Germany. And this was during the Weimar Republic. So Germany started issuing their own state currency, and the economy started booming. Hitler gets named Man of the Year by the Times magazine. That wasn't that magazine. Right. So then now we rolling up on World War II. I don't know if y'all heard, but Germany was one of the richest countries in the world during World War II. And I watched this documentary. This is a real documentary about some lost gold that Hitler was traveling the world. Hitler collected treasure. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Fun fact. He collected stuff. He was traveling around the world. He found hella gold and took it back to Germany. And it was hey, now we can make our own money because we just got all this treasure, right? That's why he was named Man of the Year. Right, so then World War II happens, because now Germany getting rich again, and we don't like that. And Hitler just gave him the perfect reason to start a war, because he was just outrageously killing people, committing genocide. Killing people like an idiot. So then we got World War II, Germany again in debt. Then that ends with the Bretton Woods Treaty. Now, I don't know if you know about the Bretton Woods Treaty, and it was one of my favorite treaties to learn about. It always was, just because I like the name. It sounds like somebody's name. Bretton Woods. There go Bretton Woods over there. Anyways, it sounded like the name to me, so it was one that I always remembered. And that was the treaty. Let me find my notes. My notes is just all over the place. That was the treaty that the U.S. was like, hey, everybody put your money on our money. Everything is backed by the U.S. We trade in U.S. dollars. Everything gets converted to our money to import, export. Big dogs over here. Boom. And the country's just like, well, we don't really want to do that, but we will, I guess, on 2 conditions. Boom. The U.S. dollar replaces the pound as the global reserve and trade currency. The signing nations agreed on those conditions, being that the Federal Reserve doesn't overprint the money. You know, don't be overprinting stuff. You're causing inflation. Now the value of the dollar is lower. I got to spend more of my money to get this money. I don't want to do that. So they agree on 2 conditions, right? Fed, don't overprint the money. Like, don't be doing that. We don't want to play that. Like, we don't want to do that. Don't do that. Okay. A dollar, 1 equal, not too much money in circulation, right? 2, the dollar is always going to be convertible to $35 an ounce, right? So if I got $35, I can come to you and I can get an ounce of gold. Always. No questions. Hands down. When I come say, give me my gold, you're going to give me my gold. Period. Point blank. So that happens, right? This was signed in 1944. This was signed in 1944. That happens, right? It's 1970. France is like, hey man, look at all this paper in here. What we gonna do with this paper? I don't want this paper no more. I'm tired of looking at this paper. Hit up the U.S. and get our gold, because I'm tired of looking at this paper. I can't do too much with this paper. I want my gold now. And then Nixon is like, whoa, pump your brakes, man. Whoa, buddy. And this was around the time when they had just moved all of the gold reserves to Fort Knox. I don't know if you know, but it's a conspiracy theory that Fort Knox is empty and has been empty for a super duper long time. And they even got a video. Like, I watched the video of them. Like, they had a video of when they moved all the gold and they had like press there, and I don't understand why you would have that anyways. But when they moved all the gold into the vaults, and it's like, it was cool. Watch that video if you can find it. But France is like, hey, I want my money, I want my gold, what's up? Nixon was like, well, can't have that. Officially ending the treaty, because like, you can't agree, like, okay, I will take over being the U.S. Trade currency, and in exchange, I will always let you come get it for some gold. That's cool. That's a contract. Like I said, we gotta be both offering some kind of consideration. And anytime one of us stops offering that consideration, anytime that consideration is not actually being offered, the contract is void. So the Bretton Woods treaty is now void. And the nation started withdrawing, stopped using the US dollar to trade with, because now it's not worth nothing. You ain't got my gold. And Nixon, I think, had to come out and say that it was gonna take them like 5 or like 8 years to pay them back. Right? Crazy. So that happens, and then he goes down this long, elaborate plot of how, right now, nobody believes in the US dollar, so how are we gonna get that back? Right? Because effectively the plan should have failed at Bretton Woods after we ruined that, after Nixon did that. But no, what we did is we started going after the Middle East. Like, right at this time, oil is super important. Now we learning how to make cars. We want to drive around, we want to fly in the air. We need oil. We only know how to power that stuff by oil. Where's all the oil at? Where are all the oil reserves at? They're in the Middle East. They are up under Iraq and Iran, Saudi Arabia. They are up under those countries. Lebanon, they are up under those countries over there. Where are we at war right now? For? Where have we been stationed, occupying this land for so many years? And who was it that officially brought the troops back? Was it Trump that brought the troops back from Iraq and Iran? What was they over there for? I'm gonna tell you what they was over there for. So initially, like, the U.S. came at them like on some nice stuff, like, hey y'all, if you agree to only sell your natural resources in U.S. dollar to other countries, then and agree to only like you sell it in that, so you're gonna have a whole bunch of dollars. You sell it in U.S. dollars, but then you take those same U.S. dollars and you only import from me. You can only sell to everybody in U.S. dollars, so they have to convert to U.S. dollars. Give all your U.S. dollars to my country, right? Because we have everything you need that you import, so you can just export it from here, right? And they agreed, and we offer, like, the U.S. we're gonna protect you. We're gonna offer you arms protection. We're gonna give you all the goods and stuff that your country needs. Like, we got you. If you sell what you got, which is obviously very valuable, in my currency only. The petrodollar. I don't know if y'all heard of that, but y'all should have. The petrodollar. That's how that comes into play, right? But then the U.S. is like, I don't know if y'all know, I'm sure y'all gotta know, because we literally learn about this in school. Like, every country wants to be somebody that exports, because if I'm exporting stuff to other countries, that means I got a lot of money coming in. The U.S. does not do a large amount of exporting. We do a large amount of importing. We get most of our stuff from other countries. China specifically, not specifically, but mostly other countries in China and Malaysia and Taiwan and Japan. And we get most of our stuff from them. We get most of our stuff from Europe and France and Germany, and we get most of our stuff from them. They don't get most of their stuff from us, because our agriculture and our manufacturing feel like that they just plummeted. Like, and it seemed like we on the forefront of technology, but we're not on the forefront of technology. We're not on the forefront of education. We're not on the forefront of agriculture. Like, I don't know if y'all have been seeing like how much of normal, like, popular U.S. food is banned in Europe, like Skittles. Go look up Skittles. It is banned. A whole bunch of stuff that we eat so normally, so regularly, is banned in other countries because of how poisonous it is to our bodies, and we intake this regularly, happily, right? So I'm the Middle East. I'm a country in the Middle East. I want to buy stuff from you, but your food is nasty because it got genetically modified, like, stuff on it, and you using nasty pesticides, and you using stuff that's poisonous to my body, and different dyes to make the food look a different way. You bleaching stuff unnecessarily to make it look a different way. You're gluing together meats and steaks. I don't know if y'all have heard that one, but they use meat glue to glue together stuff. We making fake lettuce. Like, you're making fake food, and you want me to buy fake food from you when I can make the fake food here myself or get it from somewhere else? But now that's the only currency that I have. Like, my currency is on the dollar, because that's what I'm doing my business in, right? So then they started withdrawing, but it was like, nah, bro, this don't make no sense. This stuff is not worth this. This is not worth this. I can get a lot more for my actual money if I go through other countries, if I don't sell this in the dollar, if I don't do this with you. So they start backing out, and then guess what happens? We start attacking them. Blow you up over here. Assassinate that person right there. Oh, you got Taliban over there? Slide them some weapons. Political unrest. Amplify that. Make it worse. They come in like I'm rescuing you. Make it look like I am helping the government fight against this revolution that's completely, based on whatever is going on there. And it is. But I'm also on both sides, because I'm giving them guns, and now I am the guns that they fighting. So I'm making money on both sides. And that is how the US took over the world with the US dollar. And that's how they did it. And I just thought that was amazing. Amazing to find out. Simply amazing to find that out. Because it is simply genius. Like, whew, simply genius. I wish I could articulate how genius, like, I want y'all to sit and think about it. They literally took over the world with the US dollar. Everybody is dependent on the US dollar, and the dollar is not backed by anything. The dollar's not backed by anything. At all. Nothing at all. That gets me back to the other point, like back to the birth certificates, right? I don't know if y'all been hearing about people talk about learning about this term, necessity trust, and stuff like that. And in the book, he explains that the straw man is attached to a bank, basically a bank account that has lots of money in it, because I'm paying taxes and penalties and stuff, and so it's going somewhere. Maybe it's going to that bank. But I think the necessity is a trust that already just got money in it. That's our money. He thinks that your straw man is connected to a bank account for, you know, people to profit off of, you know. But honestly, at the end of the day, it all boils down to, like, slavery is still going on right now. We're still slaves. Like, we literally are so dependent on the dollar. We think, like, I have to do whatever I need to do to get this money so I can live my life in this country. I have to make some money. I have to make a lot of money. And then we got inflation going up, and it's a recession about to start. And who profits from recessions? You know. Hey man, this is a good book. Y'all should read it. And then my favorite, absolute last part that I'm gonna talk about this book. He sits down and he has this analogy, and he explains the creation of the government and the creation of money and how they did it. So in his example, it's starring two brothers. We're gonna call one Mr. Government, the other Mr. Banker. All right, so Mr. Government is like, hey man, all right, I got this set up. We got a system. I got constituents, people depending on me, and now, you know, we need roads, we need buildings, we need this, and we need that, and we need food, and we need that. So I'm gonna hit up my brother, Mr. Banker, over here and be like, hey, broski, what's up? I know money don't exist, and I know you ain't got it. And I know we literally already got the materials and labor and stuff to do this all ourselves. But give me some money so I can tell my citizens that we are in debt, so I can tax them to pay back that debt. And we're just making pure profit, right? We're making pure profit. Because my government, Mr. Banker is not gonna give Mr. Government no money. But I'm gonna print it, and I'm gonna create jobs for people to have. And in these jobs, their wages are going to be taxed, and they're gonna come back to me. And I'm gonna give them back to my brother. Now we're just making bank. And I'm telling them that I'm in debt, so I have to charge you these taxes, and they can increase and decrease and do whatever they want to do when I want them to do that. But you have to work. You gotta work to get this money, to pay back this money that we are in debt. Like you do, the people, not me. You're gonna pay for the debt. Because y'all said y'all wanted roads and stuff, and that's not cheap. Monetarily, even though money is fake. So now the money that's not backed by anything that Mr. Government just borrowed from Mr. Banker is backed by your blood, sweat, tears that you put in to go to your job every day, you know, to contribute to society. Because no doubt, you know, some of the jobs that we do are very important. But y'all gotta do this hard work to earn this money from me, even though I'm gonna take most of it back. And I'm gonna take profit, and I'm gonna just sit back and chill. And I'm gonna sit up in my government house with my congressman, and we're gonna sit here and argue like we're doing something to to help and better the people, because you know, like, you being pregnant and not wanting to be pregnant is completely my business, and you should not be able to control that for yourself, because that's not for you to do. I need more capital. So you being in control of your reproductive system is none of your business, because it's gonna make you some money one way or the other. You know, register their birth with me. I'm gonna use them to make some money one way or another. Super crazy man. Super crazy man. He also has a section in the back of the book that has like a whole bunch of facts, like a whole bunch of URLs and court cases and, you know, stuff like that. So you can like see, like, this stuff is facts. Like, it's facts, and they teach it to us. It's in our face like all the time, but I don't think that we're listening. I don't think that we're hearing what it is that they're telling us. I don't think that we're taking it for what it really is. Like, people be like, oh, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, but like, literally everything is. Words mean what they mean, or communication is not possible, and words have a lot of meaning. I even saw this conspiracy theory that like English is based off of, like, the language English came from a Germanic cult, like it originated from a Germanic cult language, and now it's English. Which would make sense as to why English is one of the hardest languages to learn in the world, because everything else is based off of Roman alphabets and Greek alphabets. Not English. Not English. Alright, that's gonna be it for me, y'all. I hope this video don't turn out too long. I hope it don't get too confusing, because I know I like start to ramble and stuff, but overall, 8 out of 10. Would recommend. Go get this book, read it. Really great information. Even goes through a point that is really important in here that I really want y'all to read about the steps to a revolution, and how you know that it's spreading, and how you know that it's gonna work. I also got some other stuff to talk about on that. You know, because we know Pluto is finna go into Aquarius, and the US is finna have this Pluto return. It's also going to turn about 250 years old, and we know that an empire only lasts about 250 years. And that's why y'all need to read this book. So when it gets to the point where it's about to, when we get to the moment where we act, you're going to know, and you're going to be prepared. So I need y'all to read that. More on that at a later date. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.